So right now, let's introduce the judges and take a look at who we have to be. I was joking, this kind of feels like American Idol because you got the 4 judges. I don't know who's going to be the mean one, who's going to be Simon over here. But we'll start with Danny Brewer. He's with the Small Business Program at the City of Austin, right here in the end. We have Genevieve Gilbreth, who's the Managing Director at SKU. Shayna Dunitz, who's the Program Manager at 3-Day Startup. And Preston James, the co-founder and CEO of Div Inc. So tonight, we're going to see 4 pitches from 4 different unique businesses in the consumer packaged goods space. We are going to have a voting process that's held out until the end. We're going to be putting up a voting panel on the screen where you can text to vote to figure out who's going to be the winner. We're not going to show you the live voting results. We'll show you at the end and present a check with all the prize packages to the winner. So for now, we also want to thank Hall Martin. He's CEO of 10 Capital. Hall, there you are. He's right in the back. 10 Capital Group. Thank you so much for all your help. He's been providing us help with voting support tonight. And after all the finalists have pitched, we will just display that screen with text to vote that number. So at that time, you'll be able to cast your vote for the winner. So we're going to start. We're going to start with the first pitch. This business is Rogue Pet Feed, and we have 2 co-founders with us today, Nate Dewsbury and Blake Jackson. Come on up.
How's the volume on that, everybody? The back? Good? Excellent. Normally a loud talker, so I'm trying to get too loud with you here. Well, thank you for having us. I'm Nick Dewsbury. I'm the founder and co-owner of Rogue Pet Feed, and together with my partner in crime, Blake Jackson, we are launching a revolution in pet nutrition by allowing owners to take back control of their pet's health. This is no simple task, actually. We've had to forge completely new ground. Oh, no, you're good. We've had to forge completely new ground and develop new processes that never existed if we were ever going to have a chance to be successful. The long-standing problem is that pets aren't eating real food. It's a little shocking. The source of this problem is actually the extrusion process that's used to make all pet food out there. So how do we know this? Well, with 60+ years of feeding pets dry food with no clear winner is an easy observation to make. It's a rational conclusion shared by many elite pet owners and breeders and professionals that are out there in the market space. Deeper insight into the extrusion process actually shows that it's cooked many times, and the result is that it loses all its real nutrient value. This image shows that the negative impact of cooking steps have on the digestibility of the actual ingredients. Furthermore, the remaining product of the extruded kibble actually causes a low to mild immune response in the animal, affecting the gut health and the microbes inside the animal. So you have to ask yourselves with this information, how is this really food for pets? So if an extruded product was half as good as what the big pet food marketing companies want us to believe that it is, then it would have been adopted decades ago across all animal species, not just pets, both in the US and in the global market. So this is why Rogue has finally created a process for cold-pressed pelleting pet food. It is the closest that we can get to a raw diet, but with the ease and convenience of an actual dry food. So learning that extruded food is cooked 3 different times and loses all of its real value, you can see why there's actually a need out there for supplementation, for many supplements across the board, but also to supplement nutrition value, but as well as to supplement to impact and address actual health issues in the animal. So by improving pet nutrition, we can actually impact pet health, and by impacting pet health, we do that through impacting gut health specifically. So knowing how to manage gut health is the actual key here. So as you can see from this image here, gut health is a living system. It freely influences all aspects of the animal, organs, even the brain, specifically even reproduction. So you can see how this body uses this system's approach to manage total health. Thus, it shouldn't be treated like a symptom if you're trying to correct it. Awareness of this application is actually standard of care in many other species as we raise production animals and our food animals, but it's not in our pet food industry, and it's not being addressed for our pets. This is why pet health for companion animals is 22 years behind the ball here. So again, this image shows that it's a system, and sadly, this is why many professional vets fail to detect and treat successfully an array of health issues. Because if they try to address a system by one at a time from a singular force or a singular focus point, it's not only wasteful, but it's faulty. And this is the bigger reason why our rogue solution is going to succeed. So the extrusion method was actually created for human products, actually. Pet food was an after effect. So 3 markets that extruded products exist in are in breakfast cereals, puffed chips, and then pet food are the bigger marketplaces. And to show you what we're dealing with specifically on pet food, there's 525 dry foods, there's a little over 240 wet foods, there's 47 brands of raw food, but there's 0 cold pressed pellets, and there's 0 of these brands or products that actually address total gut health. So by making a cold pressed pellet food for pets, we actually gain digestibility. We gain flexibility to use supplements that can't be used in extruded processes that actually address real health of the animal. And you add into our lower carbon footprint for being able to do this, plus the sustainability and scalability, both in the process and the ingredients that we can use, that gives us more freedom in our formulations. And by doing this, we gain even more advantages over an extruded product. So where is Rogue at right now? Well, we have battle-tested leadership. We have already a premier canine supplement that works amazingly. We have a kick-ass website with full online ordering that is making us money. We have the entire process from mixing the bagging to distribution already in place, and we already have alignment with other third-party vendors in Texas, very specific, in place, as well as affiliate sites and retail stores that are already selling and distributing our product. So where we're at now is actually we need to grow our tribe, hire on some full-time employees to take key positions, actually do some more education, and actually develop a spot for us to establish our facility. So
that's all the time
Yep.
we have. That's all the time we have for Rogue Pet Feed. Thank you so much for presenting. So I guess I should have explained this from the start, but we actually did a drawing to figure out who's going to go first, second, third, or fourth tonight. So Rogue got the first card. So what we're going to do right now is if you have questions in the audience, hold your questions until we get a mic back to you. But we're going to start with the judging panel. Who here has a question for Blake and Nate?
Okay, I've got a few questions. So first, when you talk about the gut health, how do we know that Rogue is actually healthier? And I didn't see any data or statistics that showed Rogue is actually, keeps pets healthier. I mean, I know you guys are new, but the very first thing you had up there was you're science-backed and, BS free? Yeah. Science-backed and BS free, right? So can you hit me with, how do we know that Rogue is actually healthier than what's out there today?
Is this the one? here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Actually, this is long-standing research that's been done since the 30s, actually. And being that I've been in animal health for over 15 years, I've been in the food manufacturing side, and I've consulted globally and worked globally in production animal health. I get access to billions of dollars of research that doesn't see the light for public, actually. That's why we know we're 22 years, or the animal industry is 20 years behind the ball, because a lot of what we're doing is we're adapting what's known knowledge, which is the key, is adapting science and applying it into a working system. And that's all we're doing, is adapting advanced knowledge that's used globally into a canine system or to a cat system that's never been addressed before. So I've been fine-tuning this for 5 years on the formula, but this has been going on for a year and a half. We win bets with vets all the time, actually. And basically, when you have elite level canine athletes, they're used to high levels of supplementation because they know there's a nutritional gap. I saw it 13 years ago when I was competing with dogs. So this is their life. They're using this, they're using that, trying to address problems as they arise, but also pick up nutrition value. But that's their life before working with us. And then this is their life just with our supplement after working with us. And this is usually within a couple of weeks. So try and imagine having 4 dogs on 4 different foods, on a myriad of products, and then after a week or two, all the problems are gone. The dogs are on one food now. We fixed the nutritional gap. We fixed the digestive issues. We fixed any skin and coat issues. To be able to go from this to this in a couple of weeks is pretty miraculous. It's proven it already works. It's just how we use it and how we formulated the product. And this is just the beginning. I had to create this all the way back to the beginning of real pet nutrition to create what we're going to next, which is really going to shake up the market and turn people on their heads.
Gotcha.
In answering that question, we actually have ongoing work to show these actual values with a lab in Houston, ANSH Labs as well.
Hey, so can you explain what this cold pellet process is and why it is better and why someone would choose this versus just raw food?
That's a very good point, actually. So this is the existing process for extruded food. So any dry food goes through this multi-million dollar process. It's cooked here, and it's cooked here, and then it goes into your product, right? This is a much easier way, more cost-effective way, but the reason why it's cold press is that it does not use steam or heat. So these processes all use temperatures above 200 degrees, which on that level with some pressure alters the molecular structure of the ingredients. So by the time it gets to the end, it's no longer what it started with. By using pelleting forces, we actually can take the ingredients and press them, does not add heat, does not add any molecular changes to the ingredients, thus picks up the actual digestibility, absorbability for the animal by 100% or more. And this is what we're seeing because the volumes at which we can just use our supplement alone can cut their food bill already in half. They can use half as much as what they're using because we're picking up nutrient absorption, picking up digestibility, and then as they pick up health, it just snowballs into a positive way.
Another great benefit overall is the cost and the convenience. So implementing raw or human-grade food is awesome. If you can take that on, it's a big ask for most people. And to be consistent with it is also a big ask. With our solution, you're actually not changing what you're asking people to do. You're going to take a pellet, you're going to put it in a bowl, and you're going to improve the dog's health, and it's going to be the same cost as what you're already doing.
And that was actually just a follow-up question related to cost. How does the cost of this compare to standard dry dog food?
It should be it should be the same as a mid-grade dog food with all of the things that you'd find in your $70 bag of dog food.
So it should be,
No,
or
it will be.
is?
No, it
will
is.
be,
Yeah.
Sorry, it is.
is right now?
Yeah, we're actually on the 3rd version of the 1-ton scale-up batches that I'm making. So I'm already on the 3rd version of this pellet. So we've already been testing with our large beta group already. So just fine-tuning the caloric density, make sure the dogs are carrying weight just fine. The whole point is to create the most honest product for the most honest price, because a lot of dog food out there is unethically priced because it's all the same quality, and as far as what it should be compared to a raw, it's a little too elitist feeling, and people shouldn't be forced to decide whether they're going to eat a little bit of food and pay $80 for a bag of food just to feed the dog, and makes them a little guilt trip.
So how do you plan to scale your business? Like, what is your sales channel?
We already work with a wholesaler and also with which is in a national program for retail outlets for single source locations, so mom and pop. And then we also have local retail chains that we're working with that are very specific on their ability to educate the consumer. This is a very technical product at the moment. It's very different, so it's going to require personnel and staff that at these locations that know about food and can actually help educate the consumer at the end.
Do you plan to target online equally or brick and mortar retail?
It's a split process between online retail as well as brick and mortar. Pricing schemes are a little bit different, and we also have affiliate sites because we're trying to make the biggest impact possible, and by supporting local businesses that are focused in Texas and or focused in the state is where we plan to target this at.
If you won the $2,000, how would you use it?
I would say educational marketing, just to bring up the level of awareness about what's really going on, because how many people here knew this is the process that your food for your pet is actually being made? The gas bill to run this facility like this, just for the gas, the propane to heat and cook, is 200 grand by itself. Just to do that, and then you add on the water, and then the time it takes to make a whole batch to go through. Carbon footprints through the roof on that, and that's why they smell, and that's why they keep them outside the city, where ours can be right next door and you won't even know it.
All right, so all of the judges asked their questions. Is there a question or two in the audience for them? Okay, I'll come to you. And go ahead and introduce yourself, and also if you have a suggestion, you're also welcome to make a suggestion of them.
Hi, I'm Dwight Flinker-Bush. I work for the Cook Snook, a culinary incubator here in Austin, Texas. I'm an entrepreneur coach there. So you spend a lot of time talking about everybody else and what they're doing, what you're not doing, which is interesting. My question to you is, how are you going to get market share? I mean, at the end of the day, you talk about the educational process and marketing. How are you going to do that? Because trying to dissuade people from changing dog foods is not an easy task.
No, that's Dwight, correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Dwight. That's a really good question. We're well aware of this, and we're already starting on that process by creating our own network, as well as tapping into an existing network that is already dealing with high-level products. That's why this supplement is so good at what it's doing right now, and it's the foundation for this food. To be honest with you, we already have a wait list. I stopped keeping track because everybody we deal with is already waiting for it. The idea is to, when we finally come out of full stealth mode and to come across the start line running at full speed, is we'll already have distribution networks in place, and then the rest is mostly related to marketing. So we already have the product, we'll already have the data, we're already doing things that they're not even doing or not even willing to address, and it's already spreading across the US. We have sales almost in every state already. So that is our plan of attack, is to come out fully swinging, and we plan to do that with the actual food. And the supplement is just to start building up our base to give us that starting block that we need to launch off the line from the very beginning.
Hi, I'm Mo. I'm an amateur dog owner. And, I'm curious, does this need to be refrigerated?
No, sir. No, Mo, it's not actually. That's the beauty about what we're doing. By cold pressing, you don't add moisture, you don't add temperature. Those things require these facilities to add other mold inhibitors, other antioxidants, other preservatives. Those preservatives are there to preserve the food, to keep it from spoiling. Well, spoiling is the process of degradation and breaking down. Well, guess what the dog's about to do? He's about to eat that and start breaking it down. Well, if it's got all these other preservatives and antioxidants in there that the dog doesn't actually need to have on its system, it's actually going to help it's going to resist breaking down in itself. So you add all these extra factors in there over the life of an animal, and by the time they're 5 to 8 years old, that's why you're seeing obesity rates keep climbing as we keep changing. Even though we change from grain to grain-free, mostly by and large, we're still seeing even more cases of pet obesity, GI diseases, as well as cancer rates go through the roof still. And this was supposed to be a good change for us, for pet owners, going from grain inclusion to grain-free, and pick your puffery term, and it's there. But yet none of these rates have changed. They only keep going up because they're not addressing the root problem, which is what we're addressing with gut health.
Okay, we'll do one last question. I'll run back there.
Andrew from Austin here. You've spoken a lot about your abbreviated manufacturing process, and I'm really curious about what that means for your margins, especially since you're able to avoid those additional costs that I'm guessing would be incurred with all of the standard process, as you will.
Oh.
Can you speak a little to that?
Sure thing. Just skipping on me. Extrusion processing is literally the most cost-intensive way to make a food. We know this also because globally it is not used to feed any other animal of value. Not the poultry, not the swine, not the horses, even though in some countries we still eat horses. But human junk food and pets, that's the only processes that make, in pet food, is the only process that is used. So part of it is because you got the infrastructure needed to cook and dry and move and handle is huge, where it's a fifth of what we actually need to do that. And this process is actually the most cost-effective way to form it into some type of shape. Because that's the one thing we've actually tested before, was just to create a loose ration. But they've done such a good job at teaching people that it needs to be in the shape that.
So, is this on?
Yeah, I think it's.
Hello? 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 Okay. So, one of the issues with extrusion as well is what they're starting with. And so, you can talk about the margins. We're starting with the highest quality ingredients. So while we're reducing the cost of our manufacturing, we're actually front loading with the best quality stuff up front. So that's why our price ends up being about the same as a mid-grade dog food. So everything we're putting in is top quality, and we're able to do it up front as opposed to adding machinery to add at the end, which then adds on to the cost of the finished product for their process. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right, well, I want to thank Rogue Pet Feed for coming up here and giving their pitch. Nate and Blake, thanks so much. Have a seat. We're going to move on to the second pitch. The next company is called Curcuma, and Rachel Musquiz is the owner and chef. I'm going to call her up here for her pitch. And do you want the choice of the headset or the mic?
Hello? Try it. Hello? Hello? Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? Hello? All right. Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm here to talk to you about Curcuma Golden Paste. Curcuma Golden Paste is is an activated turmeric product that makes it easy to make golden milk at home, and it also adds a nutritious and delicious boost to a variety of recipes. Can I see a show of hands of who here has heard of golden milk before? Awesome, awesome. And how about the benefits of turmeric? Have you guys been reading about that? Okay, great. In the last couple of years, it's definitely been getting more recognition. So I'll explain what golden milk is to everyone who hasn't heard of it. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about how I got here in this room with all of you. Last summer, I was strolling down South First Street, and I walked past the cutest teal trailer that I had ever seen. I had to go ask some questions, and it turned out that they were selling the truck. And I can share the juicy bits with anyone who's interested, but the short story is, within a month, I had purchased the truck, gone through the permit and inspection process, and popped open my windows to sell Austin's very first golden milk. So it's been quite the adventure. I have been bootstrapping it ever since, developing a wholly plant-based menu, managing all of the operations, and also growing the business. So the name curcuma actually comes from the Latin word for turmeric, curcuma longa, and is really the inspiration for my menu. My menu is inspired by Ayurveda, which is a holistic approach to healing with food. So that's everything that my menu is about. So even though my menu is vegan and plant-based, I have a range of customers from Whole30 to Paleo to you name it. People come to me because they want to feel good. They know that the food that they're eating is high quality. I utilize superfoods and local organic produce to create dishes that are that have a lot of health benefits to it. So one of the biggest recognitions that I got this year was being named to Austin Chronicle's 100 Restaurants Defining Austin Now, which only a handful of food trucks did, and only a handful of vegan places did. So it was incredible to see how much Austin has welcomed this type and style of food. And so now I'll get back to golden milk, which is the star of the show here. So like I mentioned, I put golden milk on my menu. The tradition of golden milk comes from Ayurveda and in India, and it's been used for thousands of years to both heal and nourish. My modern take on it uses turmeric, which has been mixed with a variety of spices, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, black pepper, and coconut oil. At the truck, I mix it with coconut milk and medjool dates and serve it both warm and iced. And as soon as I started selling it, some of my first repeat customers said, "Where can I get more of this? Are you gonna bottle this?" And that was something I thought about for a while, but then I had to go back to like what my mission is. And what that really is to spread the knowledge of the incredible benefits of turmeric, and also offer a product that is easy to use and makes it easy for people to incorporate turmeric into their daily routine. So right now there are other turmeric products in the market that do a similar thing to make it easy to make golden milk at home. This would be the first of its kind, the first paste to come to market. You can buy the powdered stuff at H-E-B, Amazon, Whole Foods, but my unique paste making process heats all of the ingredients together and really starts to activate the turmeric by mixing it with black pepper and coconut oil. So that makes it different. And also can be used in a variety of recipes. All of the powdered versions that are on market now include a sweetener. Mine comes unsweetened, giving the customers the ability to choose what kind of sweetener and have control over that. So we talked a little about turmeric. You guys know lots of publications talk about it, lots of science reports. For me, I didn't need to read a scientific study to know the health benefits of it. I'll skip over that part. So my plans for growth is, the next step is to increase distribution. Right now I sell from my truck, the farmer's market, 2 retail locations, and just launched direct sales online. I'm looking to get into more local markets and also partner with some online distributors as well. So what I would do with this money and this prize, I would really focus on increasing the distribution and putting real efforts into getting into local markets here. I also would like to update the packaging, change the serving size, and include a lot more information about the product, so it educates people as they're purchasing it. Also increasing direct sales through a digital marketing campaign, which I have the infrastructure for right now, and then also some product testing to extend what the shelf life is. So, thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. I don't know if this, there we go. Thank you, Rachel. We're going to start with the judges. We want to start on Danny's side or Preston's? Danny, all right.
You have up here that you're going to do product testing to extend the shelf life. What is the shelf life of the product now?
Right now, it is 3 to 4 weeks, and then after opening, refrigerate after opening, and it's 3 weeks in the fridge, similar to like a hummus.
Well, congratulations on your success so far. So what is your goal with this business? Do you see yourself selling, sticking with the turmeric paste, or do you see a full line extension?
My vision for the brand is to really be a wellness company that offers both products and services that can assist people in incorporating superfoods like turmeric into their daily life. I do have ideas for future superfoods, like mixes, and I have some different like spice blends that are unique that are also on my menu, but right now I'm really focused on the turmeric paste because I think that getting that into people's homes is my top priority. And I'll continue on with the food truck because it is a sustainable business, and I also love it.
So you said that there are no other pastes out there right now. Why is that?
I'm actually not sure. It does come from my process is inspired by traditions that they've been using for thousands of years. I think that, turmeric kind of popped and people were really quick to just throw some turmeric in a bag, say make it at home, and not really put in the effort of figuring out what is the best use for it. I just don't think that anyone has done the testing to really market it. I think it's been used as an ancient tradition and used it at home for so long that it just has never like occurred to someone to put it in a store.
Okay. Again, congratulations to you, and I have to find my way to your food truck very, very soon. So, question I have is, it's along the line what Shani was asking in terms of why other folks haven't done the paste yet. What is your cost structure like? I mean, the paste and versus buying turmeric in the bag at a store?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be cheaper just to throw some dry turmeric that I buy in bulk in a bag. But the cost that I have, I've added in a great margin for it because I do want to invest in the marketing and the packaging of it and the education piece of it. Right now it is a sustainable and profitable mode, but I am, but I'm also not doing it just to make the most amount of money. Like, I want to offer a quality product that is unique and makes it easy for people to use at home. So, does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you.
All right, audience, it's your turn. Who has a question for Rachel? Keep asking them. You're good to it.
Hi, Rachel. I keep talking here. Also, great success you had. I've seen your truck around. I haven't had a chance to stop by there yet. I just did a real quick search on Google, and I see a couple of different ready-made pastes not available here in Austin on the internet. How much you get for your paste? What's your cost? Retail?
I charge $10. And it's about 12 servings.
About 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then your idea is to expand that into different channels. Do you expect to go nationwide and sell through like Whole Foods or larger channels like that?
Right now Whole Foods isn't on my direct path. Right now I'm really focused on the Austin market. I think that knowing what I know about my food truck and how it's grown, I think that Austin is a great place to test and really develop this concept. If I could make this town golden, I would be super stoked on that. But if opportunities came up for me to ship wider, I just am very conscious of scaling at the right level. And so right now, Austin is something that I can really feel like I can take on. So of course everyone's dream is like Whole Foods, but things are changing, so who knows what Whole Foods will even be in a year, so yeah.
Hi. So I have a question. So whenever someone is trying to make healthier decisions, like eating paleo or things like that, one of the great things is that you see the ingredients in a product, so you know exactly what makes up the food that you're eating. So in having a business where you're advertising exactly what is in the food that you're creating, how do you keep what you're doing special versus something that someone could make at home?
If people want to make it at home, or if other people want to, launch a turmeric paste, I don't think that cannibalizes the market share that I'm able to take on. I have a brand and I have a community and a tribe already. I have almost 5,000 people in my online group that when I share things, people want to come to the truck, they want to experience it, they want to come to the truck, bring the paste home, tell me how they used it. They post the photos, they send me on Instagram, hey, I just put it in a smoothie. So it's not just the turmeric paste, it is the experience of being part of the community that I think people are really drawn to. And I think that's what makes it unique. And, given looking at how many other just turmeric powders are popping up, I'm sure someone else might do it, but, there's enough room for all of us.
All right, we got a question in the far back. Thank you, sir, for making me walk.
That was me, and he needs turmeric. Is what he kidding. So, this is Gabe from Austin. I'm not familiar with turmeric at all. So, what are the benefits besides other superfoods? And also, what would I cook with it? Like, what are some recipes?
Okay, it's my favorite thing to talk about. So the studies that you'll see talk about turmeric being anti-inflammatory, and so a lot of disease comes from inflammation. It also helps with joints, so it's kind of like nature's ibuprofen. Inflammation of the gut and other organs also causes a lot of disease. It helps to boost immunity, so helps you like not get sick. It also really aids with digestion as well. So some of the ways that I use the golden paste, I stir it in my oats in the morning. The other day I made some really awesome roasted chickpeas with it. I sell wholesale to the soup peddler, and they feature it in one of their smoothies called the Golden Ticket. You guys should also check that out. And so yeah, it's a great thing just to add into pretty much anything you're cooking. I also use it in stocks and broths, so when I'm ready to make a soup or I'm ready to whatever, it's always around. So basically I just keep big quarts of it at my house. I have like tons of recipes, and then I am launching kind of like either like an ebook or on the blog a collection of recipes. Oh, and everyone's probably heard of Bullet Coffee or Bulletproof. Also, at the truck I use this with the MCT oil, coffee, and cacao butter to make a really awesome superfood coffee in the morning.
All right, we have time for one more question if anyone else. Okay, all right.
Hey, my name is Brad, and I'm curious as to what your background is, because it sounded like from your story you were just walking by, you saw the food truck, you're like, hey, I should buy that, and now here you are. So
Yeah.
How'd you get into this?
My background is I used to work in media. I worked for Condé Nast in New York, and the experience of getting burnt out from corporate job, not only did I leave New York, but I went traveling for a while. And that's when I really became a self-taught chef. I lived in the mountains with a bunch of hippies and cooked for them in Italy. And then as I was doing that, I was like, well, I have to go somewhere. And everyone I knew in Austin was starting a business, very entrepreneurial, and every time I came, I just loved it. So I moved to Austin and was helping out my friend with their food business that went from a food truck to brick and mortar. So kind of was like, oh, okay. These are the things I love, these are the things I'm good at. And so I had already started my journey as, self-taught chef and food entrepreneur. And I had a couple ideas. It was surrounding, like, basically I wanted to launch the paste first and go to the farmer's market with it. But when I saw the truck, I had someone who was interested in financing it, so it just happened very quickly. So when people ask how long it took, I'm like, oh, it's like 3 weeks or 30 years. Like, everything kind of led up to the moment of me being ready to do this. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, now my life's different. This is what I'm doing. So that's my story.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel Musquiz. This is Curcuma, and she's the second pitch. We have our third pitch ready to go. Our third finalist is a company called Ojoy. And we have Gina Alhanai coming up here as a co-founder, and I guess Michael, the other co-founder, is going to be here too. So welcome to the stage. Do you guys want this or that?
I think you'll do this, and I'll do that. Space bar. Okay.
Hello. Hi everyone, we're from Ojoy. I'm Renan. It's probably easier to just call me Gina.
And I'm Michael. Feel free to just call me Michael. And so just to give you a little bit more information about us. So I grew up basically just down the street in East Austin, and then went to law school in California. Also did some engineering there, and came back here to Austin, decided to work at a large law firm, and pretty soon realized that it just wasn't for me. I'm a lot more passionate about sustainable living, eating healthily, and so I wanted to follow that passion. So for that reason, decided to leave the firm and help start Ojoy.
Okay, so we both met at Stanford while I was doing a master's in science and engineering, and I'm in my final year of doing a PhD in civil engineering. And I've always been passionate about giving back, helping others, one-for-one models, so we decided to mesh the two together and formed Ojoy. And so you're probably wondering what makes our juice different than the other juice in the market. And so basically we have what we call our 3 S's. So you've probably heard of cold pressed juice. So that's not what we do. What we do is we blend all our drinks. And there's several benefits from that. So with cold pressed juice, you get rid of a lot of the nutritionally dense pulp and fiber and discard it. We keep all of that fiber in our drinks, and therefore making it much more sustainable practice, and we reduce waste up to 80%. And we also believe organic farming to be much more sustainable, so we're also committed to using all organic ingredients in all our bottles. And the second thing is with cold pressing, because you get rid of all that fiber, it allows for a much more easier absorption process. The disadvantage of that is when you're absorbing really quickly and easily, that leads to a sugar spike. And so when we blend, we keep all that fiber in there, and therefore it's a much more natural and slower paced digestion process, because your body then takes the time to figure out, okay, I need this nutrient, I don't need this, I'll retain this, and so on. So it's much more slower paced, and therefore you avoid that sugar spike.
Yeah, and so going to our third S, we're also socially conscious. So before I went to law school, I actually taught high school English for a couple of years and realized firsthand how incredibly crucial it is for students to have proper nutrition in order to be able to focus and learn everything they need to learn. And so what we do is we partner with a couple of different charity organizations like No Kid Hungry and Rice Bowls, so that for every bottle of juice we sell and for every food item in our brick and mortar shop, we're able to donate a meal to a child in need. So far we've donated around 35,000 meals. And so, as Gina said, we are totally organic. And so if we look at the industry of organics a little bit, we probably all know that organics has gotten really large, growth has been tremendous. And so in 2015, the organic industry overall grew about 11%, and the fastest growing segment out of that was juice. And so the juice category in organics grew around 33.5% in that same year. And so you would think, as expected, along with this, traditional sugary beverages that are carbonated are losing market share. And so for about the last decade, you've seen a decline in those kind of sugary, sweet, artificial beverages. So they've gone down about 1% every year, and then correlated, drinks that don't have any additives, any added colorants, or any added sugars, those are doing really well as well. So we've seen about 17% growth in those.
Okay, and then ending with our numbers. So we have a brick and mortar store located up in North Austin, right by the Domain, and we wholesale 8 of our juices and smoothies that we make in the store. And 0 grams of added sugar and everything. The only sugar that's going into the drinks is the natural sugar from the fruit. And because we retain the fiber, our drinks have up to 6 times more fiber compared to our cold pressed friends. And that results in a much more analogous way of, just like eating a fruit. And we retail at $4.99 per bottle, and we wholesale to a little over 20 locations around town, some of which include Royal Blue, Fresh Plus, Ingredients, and some others. And as Michael mentioned, we donated a little over 35,000 meals to date, and we're partnered with No Kid Hungry that works domestically in the US, and Rice Bowls that works internationally. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
All right, we will start with Preston this time. You ready? No? Okay. Putting you on the spot.
So first of all, please come bring us juice at Capital Factory. We're pretty staunch Juice Land people there, but we also love helping people, and this sounds really delicious. So my question here is, looking at these numbers and what you all said, this beautiful pitch sounds like you're doing very well. So why do you need this $2,000? What is this going to do for you?
Yeah, so we need $2,000 because, one, organic certification is expensive. So right now we're not certified organic. We've tested the numbers with a couple of different organic certifiers. Those estimates come back anywhere from around $2,000 to around $6,000. In addition, we really want to grow. And so right now we are working to develop an e-commerce platform. And of course, since we're working with juice, it's a relatively delicate liquid, and so it needs to stay below 40 degrees during transit. And so we're really working hard to make sure that our e-commerce platform takes advantage of efficient shipping methods so that we don't have to charge somebody $80 to ship a case of juice to New York, for example.
So what are your plans for growth? Do you want to sell online? Do you want to open up more retail locations? Do you want to go into national distribution?
So yeah, so we want to grow as much as we possibly can. So right now we're trying to get as much local market share as we can, working with some of these local groceries like Royal Blue and Ingredients. We're working on developing that e-commerce platform right now to ship direct to consumers. And then we're also in talks with some larger chains, hoping to get some purchase orders from them. So our interest is to grow as much as we possibly can.
And what are your margins currently? What do you anticipate them to be at more scale?
So our food cost margins right now are around 40%, so our gross margins are looking around 60%, and then operational margins will be around 40%.
Actually, just answer my question. So, okay. So I really love what you guys are doing. I was especially moved by the number of meals that you guys are actually putting out there to the community. And so my question was actually around your cost to produce the bottle, and how are you, I mean, what's it costing you to get those meals over to the community? So that's one question there.
Sure. So to produce the bottle, our cost to actually make it is roughly $1.30. For the cost of the meals, it depends on the charity we're working with. And so, for instance, rice bowl is a little bit more expensive than No Kid Hungry. So basically, it ranges from anywhere from around 15 cents up to about $1. And it just kind of depends, which particular charity we're talking about, as well as kind of what their cost basis is.
And my second question is, today you talked about the certification and you talked about trying to go through e-commerce. Are there any other specific challenges that you see that would prevent you to grow the way you want to grow?
So funding is certainly a challenge because we really want the certification, of course. But in terms of just having the financial resources to be able to focus on growth has been difficult for us. So, for instance, right now, part of what makes that difficult is simply hiring. So we have this brick and mortar shop. We're open about 13 hours during the week, and then during the weekend we're open from 9:30 to 5. And so, I mean, there are for about a year, I was working about 100 hours a week at this shop. And Guinness flying back from USC here every week, and so we're really strapped for time, and a lot of our time goes into just serving whoever walks into the restaurant. So we'd really like to get some funding to help hire people and to help get that certification going so that we can really narrow in and focus our time on distribution and growth.
All right, audience, your turn. Who's got a question? Dwight.
I don't know if I need the microphone or not, but I'll use it.
All right, thanks. Really nice pitch, by the way, and your product is really tasty. Thank you very much for bringing that. But I am curious, why brick and mortar, and why at this stage of your business, why the brick and mortar?
Yeah, so we felt like at the time, and still do, that we wanted to offer an array of food options. So, basically this pitch is centered on the wholesale bottling of the juice, but what's really important to us is creating an overall company that sells a variety of healthy options, and some of those are just really difficult to do in terms of wholesale. So for instance, we do acai bowls, we do smoothies, we do salads, and so those they just lend themselves better to brick and mortar. In addition, we wanted a space that would be reliable for us to create and package our juice. So we create and package all the juice and bottle it at the brick and mortar location. So it's kind of a double-edged.
Who else? Questions for Ojoy? Okay, the judges have more, of course. Shayna?
So the why brick and mortar was actually what I had just written down before you said it. How long have y'all been doing this?
Okay, sorry, I can't really focus on my ear. So, next month we turn 2. So we opened in November 2015.
I think probably pretty rapid growth. Is there, again, just why not focus on the juice and the bottles and nailing that and getting your certification and figuring out how you can ship them before going to a bunch of different types of stuff?
Yeah, we actually started off as a brick and mortar. So we opened the location, started off as a brick and mortar, and then realized that, hey, a lot of people were coming in and saying, where else can I get your juice? Where, do you package your products? And then we started looking into packaging and then started the wholesale line of the 8 flavors. So it started off as a brick and mortar and then evolved from there.
I have 2 kind of related questions. The first one is, so we don't see a lot of blended juice in stores now. I think the question would be why, and then the next question would be, if it does turn out that there's something that there's a market demand for, how do you get ahead of a Suja or somebody that sees that demand?
So I think one of the reasons we don't see a lot of blended juice right now is that there's one major competitor who does blended juices, but they don't do organic. They're starting to pick up some market share. But I think the main reason is that there's been so many marketing dollars thrown into cold press, and there's been so much content targeted at how cold pressing is, according to some people, the best possible juice you can grab. I think in terms of a major competitor coming in and doing the same thing, I think that's a risk with a lot of different businesses. I think one of the things that makes us really unique is that we bring in this kind of social cause concept to go with it, and I also think you brought up Suja. They're in terms of their strategy, I certainly don't work for them, so I don't know. But what we've seen is that they're getting into a lot of different spaces in terms of vinegar waters, probiotics. They've got an apple cider now at this point, and so I think at some point customers want specialization, and they want a brand that centers on a particular kind of product. And I think that's why, for instance, like we've seen Coke do these acquisitions, with smaller brands. Certainly Coke can do whatever they want, right? But Coke is getting these acquisitions of, kind of smaller players because they have that kind of brand specialty and name recognition in that more limited space.
One last question. Actually, I crushed it, right? I crushed it. Then I looked at the bottle, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's high in carbs in here, and 55 grams of sugars, which normally I would be screaming my eyeballs out like there's no possible way I'm drinking this. Why so high, and is it okay compared to what's out there in the markets? I know a lot of people are trying to move away from high carbs, high sugars, but this one is like really, really high. So talk to me about that and help me understand from the health perspective why that's okay.
So fruit is of course just high in sugar, right? Naturally. And so what we do is we don't try to shy away or dilute our juice. What we're doing is we're just taking full fruits and vegetables and blending them up, and then when you get to 12-ounce bottle, whatever you end up having in terms of sugar content is what you have. And so we think that's totally fine because part of our whole concept, right, is blending so that you can maintain that fiber. And so your body does fine digesting natural sugars as long as you're digesting them with fiber, right? Because part of the problem is when you take away that fiber, you take away that pulp, you get farther away from eating like a whole, like a mango in its natural state. And so when you do that, your body loses, that extra material to digest and absorb those sugars, which your body needs at a natural rate. And so, you can have, if you had 5 mangoes right now, it'd be fine, right? But the thing is, because that comes with fiber, your body knows how to process that. And so with our juice, since you're getting much more fiber, your body knows how to process that. And so that's why we don't try to shy away from the sugar.
Well, good. Then I'm going to take 5 home with me.
All right, great.
All right.
Yeah, that's it for our third pitch, Ojoy. Please give them a hand. We have our fourth and final pitch coming up. The company is called Elite Sweets. We have Amin Bahari to present.
So, is it working? Good evening. My name is Amin Bahari. I'm a co-founder of Elite Sweets. And Elite Sweets is a baked, gluten-free protein donut company. To us, Elite Sweets is more than just a brand or a product, it's a lifestyle. And that's reflected here in our motto/slogan, Achieve Elite. For us, what we mean by achieving elite is we want people to strive for more. We want people to reach their fullest potential and simply achieve elite in whatever it is that they decide to do. So what's the need for a protein donut? Does your lifestyle or health issues inhibit you from eating donuts? Well, now we provide a donut with benefits, one that you can indulge in and eat guilt-free. So you may be asking yourself, why a donut? Typically when we think of donuts, we think high sugars, high fats, and how many extra miles are we gonna have to run on the treadmill later on at the gym. But now we provide an alternative, one that is not only good, but better for you. We are debuting with 5 flavors. We have vanilla, peanut butter, chocolate chip, cinnamon sugar, and birthday cake. So our typical target market is the health conscious and those whose lifestyle involves staying active, working out daily, dieting, diet plans, those who meal prep and are just cautious of what they eat, those who count their calories, and simply those who just have a sweet tooth. So when we started out on this venture, one thing we wanted to do was create a sweet or a product that was inclusive of everyone. So we tried to figure out how can we make healthier alternatives. Personally, for me, diabetes runs in my family, so we wanted a low sugar alternative. So we looked into making a donut that was inclusive of those who are diabetic. So we just wanted a donut that my mother and my grandmother could eat. And then we started doing market research, and we saw that there's this trend in health consciousness, particularly here in the Austin area, so we opted to go gluten-free. We're currently working on vegan options, but with the celiac disease, a lot of people who suffer from celiac disease or those who are gluten intolerant have really enjoyed our product and our donut. For them, they haven't had donuts in years since their diagnosis or ever for most of them, so it's really been a life-changing thing for them to indulge in their favorite donuts. So what makes an elite donut? Well, first off, our base ingredients begin with almond flour. So we use a gluten-free alternative and a healthier alternative than traditional flour. We use a whey-based protein. Like I said, we're naturally sweetened with stevia because we want to keep the low sugars. Baking soda, psyllium husk, which acts as additional fiber and acts as a thickening agent for our cake-style donut. Almond milk, egg whites, and water. So ultimately, what you get with our elite donut is a healthier alternative to the conventional high-fat, high-sugar donuts and a great post-workout sweet. So what makes our donut elite? Our donut has 8 times the protein of a traditional donut with 16 grams per donut. We have 25% less fat with 15 grams of fat per donut. We have about half the calories with 200 calories a donut. 2 grams net carbs, so we're very low in carbs compared to a traditional donut, which can have 30 plus. And high in fiber, so for those who lack fiber or need additional fiber in their diet, it's a high fiber supplement with 10 grams of fiber per donut. And like I said before, low sugar, with only 2 grams of sugar per donut. So you may be asking, where can I get the donuts? We currently have several retailers geographically placed here in Austin. We have one in Westlake, one in Pflugerville, Round Rock area, and one in South Austin. We're currently working on getting more retailers, and we have a few that we're actually going to solidify this week. So we range from gyms, weight loss clinics, nutrition shops, and coffee shops. So those are a lot of the businesses that we partner with and do business with. So you can order online at elitedonut.com. That's also has our list of elite retailers. And we're running a promo code for $3 off your first purchase. So it's an exclusive promo code just for you guys, promo code Fast Start. So feel free to place the order, and thank you for having us.
Who wants to start?
The judges group here. Danny?
They look good, by the way.
That's the signature sugar.
The 16 grams of protein. I understand if you're an athlete and you're trying to, get big, but for the diabetic, what's 16 grams of protein going to do for me?
So the thing is, we are actually a brand built around athletes. So 2 of our co-founders are actually former UT football players. One is in the NFL, and so that's kind of how we got our start. I used to work for the UT football team, so a lot of what we were eating was the high protein cookies, brownies. So we always found ourselves eating donuts because we just have a sweet tooth, just like most people out there. So we were kind of looking for alternatives, and once we did our research on protein donuts, there wasn't a whole lot available, especially here in the Austin area. You can't really find a protein donut. For diabetics, like I said, just because we're built around athletes, we are a higher protein donut, but we are looking into vegan options and those with lower protein count. So we're currently working with that, trying to see, but we haven't had a complaint with anyone in terms of the amount of protein, because a lot of people lack protein in their diet, so it's just been a good supplement for them. And I forgot to mention, we're also working on like a red velvet. A red velvet's coming soon, and we're working on a seasonal pumpkin spice. So hopefully that'll be released here in the next week or so.
A very non-business question for you. But so you used the stevia in it. Have you tried using monk fruit sweetener? Because stevia, tends to have that mouthfeel kind of
You said
aftertaste. Monk fruit? Monk fruit? Okay, check it out.
No, we haven't, but it's something we'll definitely look into. We kind of just chose stevia because throughout the whole process, we were getting feedback from a lot of like nutritionists and those from weight loss clinics, and kind of a lot of what they wanted was a natural sweetener, so we just went with stevia, something that's basic, and pretty much everything we use is ingredients that's easy to read, something that everyone understands, household ingredients, and those that are just cleaner and healthier compared to those that you would find in a traditional donut.
So you guys are all still in school, or are you?
So I just graduated in May, so just finished.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm so excited about this. I am your target customer. I'm like 5 days a week working out, eating super clean, like desperately missing donuts, eating Halo Top by the pint, right? Because it's like the healthy ice cream. I don't even know if I had a question. I was so distracted by the pictures, everything. So, have you heard of dough bar donuts?
Yes, ma'am.
So I haven't had them. I follow them on Instagram, but it's just a hassle like order donuts when I don't know if I'm even gonna like them. Do you have any idea how this compares to dough bar donuts?
So being elite sweets, we plan to be, we're trying to be the elite sweet. So we're more of like a sweet, we can give you more of the sweet texture rather than them. So from my experience, it's more like of a bagel base, so it's pretty plain and generic. So we're trying to keep the traditional sweet feel with by keeping it an actual sweet and making it taste comparable to a traditional sweet. So you still get the feel of indulging in your favorite sweets with this, and yeah, so that's something we look to when we compare it to Del Bar.
Cool. And can you just tell me a little bit more about your traction so far? Like, what have sales been like? How long have y'all been at this?
So towards the end of school, we were trying to figure out basically what it is we wanted to do when we graduated. And so we kind of started towards the end of school. So we've been in business for about 6 months, and we went out with the MVP donut, something we made ourselves. We got good traction, and it went well. We just knew it wasn't good enough. So we actually got a product team, and that's how we developed all these additional flavors. So we got the product about a month and a half, 2 months ago, And since then, this month we raised about $2,000. We earned about $2,000 in revenue. So we just got started. Like I said, what we've been doing is demoing in gyms, a lot of gym demos, weight loss clinics, nutrition shops, and just going out there and getting the feedback from the people trying it, and just collecting all the data and giving it to the owners. So that way we're able to figure out what donuts sell the best, which ones they'd like to carry. And then ultimately, they carry it in their little nutrition shop or whatever it is they have, and it's just a great post-workout suite for them. So this month was our biggest month, but like I said, we've only had the donut for about 2 months. So that's what we're continuing to do, is just get sales and increase traction.
Cool. Well, I work out at Central Athlete right downtown. Please bring us donuts.
Where at, you said?
Central Athlete, we're a strength and conditioning gym, an OPEX gym on East 3rd.
We'll be there.
Okay, quick question. In terms of your go-to-market strategy, is UT getting on board and getting you in front of their athletic teams, and then is there a pathway for you guys to go to other collegiate programs or athletic programs or whatever?
Yeah, so ideally what we'd like to do with the funding is we want to continue to upgrade our packaging, get certifications, product testing, and a lot of all that extra stuff where we want to work on distribution and shipping. But what we plan to do, as being former graduates and athletes of UT, is we want to leverage those relationships and be a post-workout supplement that the athletes can use. So we talk closely with the nutrition staff and the strength staff there, and it's something they're open to doing, and they've been showing us a lot of support. They were actually a lot of the people who helped us. So the former strength staff, they helped Lenny and Larry's get their start. So it was kind of like, it was just a perfect opportunity for us, and something we do want to leverage in the future is the collegiate sponsorships and professional sponsorships. We've been contacted by the San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder, so a couple of NBA teams and professional organizations. So that is the route we want to go, is to be a sponsored product for athletes and those organizations, along with the CPG in multiple stores like the Whole Foods, Central Market, H-E-B.
Okay, fantastic. I heard KD and Steph Curry like donuts, man, so I'm just letting you know.
Who doesn't like donuts?
All right, thank you.
All right, the judges are done with their questions. I see Gabe over here.
All right, hopefully a simple question. One and two. How long did they last, like in the packaging?
So because they're gluten-free and we don't use any preservatives, it's a refrigerated product. So it lasts 2 weeks in the refrigerator, or it can be frozen for months.
Okay, so that's how you guys would plan on shipping it across the U.S. or whatever?
Yeah, so that's been the difficulty with shipping, is the expense to it. Right now we're looking into logistics and distribution. So that's something we plan to do here in the next couple of weeks, is trying to figure out ways to ship it and outsource delivery. So what we currently do deliver. So if any of y'all place the order, we will deliver it. We'll contact you and deliver it to your home or whatever address you use.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem.
I love the ingredient list you put up there. It checked almost all the boxes. The one thing that was missing was what oil you use. And if you pick the right oil, they'll open up the primal, paleo, keto, Whole30 people for you. So that might be something to consider.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, you talked about your target customer being the athlete, but what about your target meal? Is this specifically supposed to be kind of like a post-workout meal, or is this, I work out for 5 days hard during the week and then this is my Saturday night splurge, or where do you see it working out?
Yeah, so it can be a post-workout meal for any day of the week, or not necessarily a meal, but just a post-workout supplement for any workout at the end of any week. Also, because it's a donut, it's a lot of people like to eat it for breakfast, so it's like a good meal replacement for breakfast, something quick. But yeah, it's something you could have anytime. It's not necessarily just an occasion. You don't have to just have it at one time.
The $3 off is a great deal. How much is one donut?
So we do sell, we have different options. Currently, we're doing 3 packs because we are delivering it, so it wouldn't make sense for us to deliver 1 donut at a time. So a 3-pack is $9, $3 per donut. At our retailers, we do sell them individually where you can just get them for get 1 donut. But if you order online, it's a minimum of 3-pack, but we're looking to go in a half dozen is going to be our future minimum.
What other questions in the audience? Bunch of donuts. I'm sure you guys have more.
I had an ingredient question. So with the protein, how much protein is in it? 16 grams per donut. And then how do you ensure the quality of that protein? There's been a lot of studies around whey protein and it having a lot of fillers in that protein. How do you ensure that you're giving your customers quality? So that's something we're also working on. It's been a big question because some people don't like the whey-based protein. That's why our product team is actively working on vegan options and other options with other proteins. So to answer your question, it's right now it's just kind of something we're going with the whey-based protein, but it is something we're looking into and looking to make future adjustments. And collagen and beef isolate. What's that?
Collagen and beef isolate.
I'll let them know.
All right, one more question.
Hi, my name is Jesselyn. I'm super excited about this product as well because November 1st I'm going to try to eat healthy, but still have some nice things like this. You've mentioned a lot about your team. Can you kind of talk about, what your team looks like as far as who's looking into what's going into the product, who's making it, and kind of your business structure and all of that? I'd love to learn a little bit about the company.
So the co-founder is myself, my twin brother, and like I said, the 2 former UT football players. Our product team consists of, his name is Albert, their names is Albert and Chris. So basically after we decided to outsource us making the donut, we were looking, we basically went on a hiatus recruiting. They kind of aligned with our venture, with the personal attachment. They actually suffer from celiac disease themselves. So for them, it was a personal mission to create more gluten-free alternatives and gluten-free options, particularly sweets. So they're actually PhD chemists, pharmacy students, biochem majors at the University of Texas. So we're all from UT. We all just kind of meshed. So that's a little bit of our team, about our team. That's kind of how we all got together. We all have a similar mission and all our goals aligned, the values aligned, so kind of all worked out.
All right, thank you to Elite Sweets. So now it's time for the recap. I'm just gonna, as I call out your company's name, go ahead and stand up and wave just so people can kind of get refreshed. So the first group to present was Rogue Pet Feed, Nate and Blake. They talked about their cold-pressed way of making food for animals in high quality instead of the machine of the industry currently in pet feed. We had Rachel with Curcuma, who spoke about her trailer as well as the golden milk. And we have Ojoy with Gaina and Michael with their retail store and their juices and their 1-for-1 model. And then of course we just saw Elite Sweets with Amin and Amir and their strategy for healthy donuts. So now we're going to go up on the screen, pull out your phones. We're gonna do this via text. So which company had the best pitch? First you have to text Hall Martin, that's HALLMARTIN 094 to 22333. I know. But Hall is a great sponsor of ours. He's helping out with the pitch and he's helping out with a lot of things along the way. So he's with 10 Capital Group. So you're gonna text, once you make this message, then you can reply to the text. You guys are probably familiar with this. You're gonna text A for Elite Sweets, B for Ojoy, C for Rogue Pet Feed, and D for Curcuma. We'll just wait about 1 minute, so do the best you can, get that in. I don't think you can vote multiple times, so don't do it. The judges are struggling. If they're struggling, are you struggling out there? Anyone with undecided? Anyone vote E? No? All right, just checking. All right, so they're totaling up the votes, be about a minute longer. I'm gonna go ahead and call attention to the prize pack right now so you guys can see what the winner's gonna get. So we have the big check that's back there. The name's getting written on it right now. Yeah, Mo, what do you got? Okay, so you can only send one. Have you been voting multiple times?
Sorry?
No, okay.
It's just saying that you can't send another text, so once you sent one, it's saying that the maximum number from your phone
Good work. Okay. Great. So this guy was trying to vote multiple times, that's why.
Well,
So-
I actually got the same message.
Just kidding.
I got the same message.
Okay, so everyone got that same message. So that just shows you voted. So let's go through the prize pack. $2,000 is from the City of Austin Small Business Program. Thank you so much to them. Thank you to Danny and to Joy. 3 Days Startup is contributing a Global Roundup Conference ticket. Thank you very much, Shayna and team. Austin Community College, ACC, with 1 hour of business coaching session for each finalist. So everyone wins there. No clapping for ACC? Thank you. 10 Capital, back there with Hall. Pitch support for each finalist, so he offered pitch support prior to the meeting, as well as he's going to be offering crowdfunding opportunities to the winners. Caitlin Haney, who's on the Austin Young Chamber Board and an attorney here in town, is offering LLC formation to help with any business startup. University Federal Credit Union is offering a pre-qualified membership to their credit union. Capital Factory, 3 months of free rent. Very nice. The Austin Young Chamber is offering a 1-year elite membership. And the last and final prize is 1 case of Red Bull. So, if you add all those things up, there's a total value of over $7,000 to the winner. And keep hiding that check, it's coming up here. Could I call up Danny and Joy from the Small Business Program to help present this check to the winner? Surprise. Okay. So there's an additional prize package for every finalist too, so everyone's a winner tonight. Okay. So we'll do that. Okay, so we'll call up actually all of the finalists right here. So we're going to call up Rogue Pet Feed,
Curcuma,
Ojoy, and Elite Sweets. And everyone has a prize pack we're going to hand out. Come on up here, Danny. You want... Thank you to all for attending, and thank you to the audience for being such a great audience. So now we're going to present, thank you for clapping for the audience. Now we're going to present the check for $2,000. We have Joy Miller and Danny here to present the check. We're going to award first place to Curcuma. Congratulations, Rachel. Good photo ops. Thank you again to all the judges, all the finalists, all the attendees for joining us tonight. I want to make sure that you guys remember that we're doing this 3 more times in the next year. So our next one's going to be March of 2018. It's going to be another economic development priority for the city. It is EdTech, education technology. So if you know someone in that space, let them know about this plan and about Fast Start. And that's it for tonight. Thank you so much again for attending.